All right, setting up, going live on YouTube. All right, so we should be live now. All right, if you have any questions, just throw them in the comments. Okay, guys? And here we go. So, um, so today I am soaking up some sun here in the morning, getting, which is part of my healing regime, being grounded while receiving sunlight, ideally without your glasses on. But I'm gonna need this to look at the screen here as I show you stuff. And so I'm doing a little bit of a double dose here, doing my natural light therapy in the morning on my body, and also doing this daily log for you guys. So what we're going to go over today. Oh, first of all, hi, my name is Graham for Type What here, and I'm on a mission to find a cure for Type 1 diabetes so that it is no longer a life sentence for everybody. So I'm going through a series of experiments on myself and research to try to figure out what is that cure. I believe we're going to find it in our lifetime. All right, in this video, this is a daily log where I go over all of my health experiments that I'm doing, in addition to sometimes some other things. And today, that other thing is a ZYTO test result, okay? And I'll explain what that is in a second. So first, let's go through all of our experiments. So switching gears here, I can share my screen. And we'll go over to our experiments tab. Okay, so so I filled some of this out already last night on last night's daily log. I'm gonna round out the day and get back into. I'm gonna start doing a pace of trying to get these done in the morning so I can review these in the evening. So I'm gonna fill in some of the blanks here really quick. So yesterday my evening energy was about a 6, between a 6 and a 7, I guess. I did do my red glasses. I was asleep before 9. And let's see, today I woke up before my alarm, which is awesome. I did my stretching. I was hydrated all day, did really good. I didn't do sunlight and grounding in the afternoon. Evening, today I did my journal. Some Wim Hof, meditation. Okay, multivitamins. I did silver in the evening, did not have any illness, and did not have any deep fatigue, um, which is slightly different than the energy level that you see at the top. Um, yeah, no other pains. Zeros in there, so we logged it. All right, cool. And then today, I woke up with 10 energy, guys. I am loving this. My nighttime routine and my morning routine are really helping me show up well um, with my energy. I'm loving it. Um, okay, so I got a full 8 hours, and I got a pretty good quality of sleep. Put it at like maybe a 9. Did my hydration in the morning. I watched the sunrise. Did my affirmations. Got some of that stuff done for my stress. I'm going to take. I'm going to talk about this a little bit later, but I think I'm going to start doing my silver again. And then my numbers are good again today. Let's see, what did we get? Day, we got 63 and 6.1. Awesome. All right, the rest of the stuff we'll have to fill in tomorrow after we get all the let the day go through the day. Okay, so that's finalizing our Sunday stats and starting off our Monday stats there. If you have any questions on what all this stuff is, these are all the daily habits and experiments that I'm doing just to keep track of everything so that we have data if or no, when I find the repeatable cure for type 1 diabetes. We'll have some data points to know out of the multiple things I'm doing at once to kind of to compress the timeline, which one of those were actually contributing to the cause and effect of reversing diabetes. All right, so that's what this is for. It's not the cleanest experiment where we're just doing one, control, but we're having the controls of one variable, but I want to compress that timeline down to get this as soon as possible. And I'm not doing 1,000 things. I'm doing, how many things am I doing? Oh, well, I hid some rows in here, so it's a little hard. I can't use my row numbers. I'm doing like 50 things. So, and they're not 100%, there's probably less than that. It's just I'm doing multiple rows for each of these. So anyway, that's that. Now let's go into ZYTO. Okay, what is ZYTO? ZYTO. It's this it's like this thing you'd see in like the new age, like health centers, like a chiropractic office or something, and you put your hand on this little like mouse looking thing, and it like it's supposed to read your I think it's the electromagnetic things from your hands, and from that it can apparently detect all kinds of things in your body. I mean, we'll look at them. It's crazy how much they can detect, right? So there's 197 biomarkers that it can detect just from having your hand held on this receptive device for about 8 minutes. So I think what it does is it sends different frequency signals into your hand, and then based on how they come back out, and as in the response received in your hand, then it will determine those different aspects and measure these different biomarkers. Okay, so out of the 197, 88 were in range. I'm sorry, 120 were in range, and 77 were out of range. So that's 77. I don't know what percent that is, but that's seems like a lot out of range. But these things aren't 100% accurate, so I'm not holding this as the gold standard, but as just an insight, one data point as an insight into this stuff. And I'm losing my son to some trees, so I'm gonna scooch over. Okay. Trying to get all the sunlight in early in the day, and we have these nice big trees along our yard that kind of block this lower light. So I got to kind of move it a little bit. All right, but let's get into this ZYTO stuff. Okay, guys. So I'm not an expert in this, and is really a friend of ours brought this over yesterday, and we kind of just did it. And they're not really an expert in it either, but they have a little bit more practice. So we talked through it a little bit, and I'll speak as best I can to it, but really it's going to be a lot of unknowns and just taking the word of the label here, okay, as to what it is. So yeah, so at the top here, they, it's a product, and they they recommend different products as to help out with the results of the tests. So they try to take some of the guesswork out of it by just recommending the products. And I don't know. It's always, I'm always a little. I always like to research things before people try to push products on me. So I did have a lot of inflammatory things come up, which was interesting because I'm supposed to be on a low inflammatory diet, the PKD. So that was interesting. Let's see. So myrrh and blue tansy essential oil. I don't know. I wish I knew why they were recommending it. That would be more helpful. These are some of the products they're recommending: anti-inflammatory myrrh and blue tansy essential oils. More stuff here. These are the details on the product. And these are the test results, okay, guys? So obviously, you want to be in the green range. That's good. Yellow and red is bad. The bigger it is to the right, the worse it is, okay? So lungs, I thought was really interesting because, well, I just feel like my lungs were okay. They were in an okay place. Now, I am in California, Los Angeles, and we have had the wildfire smoke of it's called the Bobcat Fire. I forget the name of the fire, but it's the one from the gender reveal party that basically put most of Southern California in flames. And we were in for 2 weeks. We've had serious air quality issues. Now, I'm aware of that. I'm trying to be very protective of my body while I heal. So I was indoors a lot. We had air purifiers on all the time. We even contemplated just like taking a staycation in a nearby area that wasn't in smoke. We opted not to do that because it got a little bit better during those days, and it wasn't so bad indoors. So I think that's interesting. The lungs. So maybe there is some actual. I'm sure there is. I didn't imagine it would show up on a test like this. Yeah, lungs impacted probably from the fires. The other factor could be I was moving with my brother, and there was some moldy areas and some moldy stuff that he tried to clean up, but you never know. Mold's pretty tricky. It gets in the air real easily. So maybe it could be something from that, from the move. It could be something from the fires. So I thought that was a eye-opening one to me. Pancreas isn't that eye-opening because obviously type 1 diabetes. Kidneys are working hard as it relates to that. Small intestine, I know it needs a lot of work, and that's part of what the PKD is supposed to help heal is the leaky gut type stuff. So I think this is a big factor in the whole autoimmune response. So I'm really trying to. I'm thinking right now, like if I can really focus in on the digestive piece, that'll help everything else after that. So the lungs are a big surprise. The other ones aren't. I'm a little surprised at how much the small intestine is inflamed. I mean, that's pretty high, off the charts. Thyroids are high as well. Okay. Now for the vertebrae, I thought this was really interesting. So I've had some issues with my back before, and I'm in a good place with my back right now. But yeah, my lower back has issues sometimes. I don't feel any pain, which is interesting. I don't feel any pain right now. But my S5 here is like off the charts here. It's crazy. And everything else is pretty good. And so I feel like these are accurate. A little bit up top, a little bit in the middle, and more at the bottom. But yeah, I don't feel any acute pain, which is interesting. Teeth. This is interesting too. That's stuff about your teeth in here. Yeah, I don't really know what to make of that too much. I mean, I could look at the teeth and I don't feel any real pain with my teeth, but that's interesting. Um, Meridians. So this is really interesting, getting deep into the Chinese medicine stuff. So my liver meridian, my stomach meridian, and my lung meridian, all of those coincide with the previous markers, which is interesting. Yeah, they all need some work, including my kidney conception. Is that like, I don't know, is that like my reproductive system? Triple warmer meridians. I don't really know what those are or what they correspond to. I know I've had acupuncture before, and there's like little points in your hands and your ears and your feet that can affect the different organs in your body, which is pretty cool. And I think it's all meridian based as far as I'm aware. And these are the suggested services then. So the intravenous vitamin C, it's crazy. I'm not going to do that. I've been getting all my vitamins and minerals from my liver and bone marrow on the PKD diet. Trigger point therapy, sunlight exposure. That's what I'm doing right now. Chiropractic and massage. Okay, there's suggested services. They rechart the biomarkers. And okay, not sure really what they're trying to show with that. And that's it for that one. So this was the advanced report, and then there's this basic report, which basically has a lot of the same stuff, but has a little bit different of these little charts. So it has 4 core systems. My immune system, surprise, is out of range. My gastrointestinal system is slightly out of range. That's good. Hormonal and detoxification systems are good. So that's good. There's a couple surprises in here for me. I remember. We'll get to those when we get them. Inflammation was another surprise. Um, Hydration is good. Diet and nutrition is great. Look at those. Mental stress, sleep, toxic stress, in range, all good. Detoxification system. So the lungs are the worst. Now, bacteria, mycotoxins, fungi, mold, all these are out of range. Kidneys, viruses. So what's interesting about this ZYTO stuff is it puts like these emotions in there. Like there's things that emotion, I don't know how they figure that out. I mean, it's chemistry, right? So I'm sure they can figure it out. But it's really interesting to see the emotions in there. But yeah, lungs again is the big surprise. Bacteria is a surprise for me. Now, I haven't been taking my silver on a regular basis. So this test has triggered me to want to get back into my silver routine of doing the silver in the morning and evenings, maybe even adjust it a little bit further where I'll do, because Dahlia's researched from the Mastering Diabetes book that there's a certain strain of bacteria that can only be eliminated after like 6 months of using a diffuser to breathe in silver into your lungs, because you have to have it in the very small particles. You can't just drink it or do the nasal sprays. So we wanted to start that regimen at some point anyway. I figure after this test, it's a good point to just start it now. So the silver will get into my lungs for any bacteria or mycotoxins that are in there, fungus and mold and stuff. Especially since I had a little bit more mold exposure this weekend, unfortunately. So the gastrointestinal system, grief is up there, which I thought was really interesting. I think I could rationalize that is true in parts of my life right now. So I don't know if it's true, right? But it's kind of like when you go to a psychic and they throw things out there, right? Like, oh yeah, I think I can see this happening, this and that. Like your mind will try to connect the dots, even if it's not like a hard line. So, I don't know how to read that really, but minerals, small intestine, bacteria, pancreas, mitochondria. So viruses, don't like seeing those in there. But minerals is real interesting because um, I recently got back and to take eating enough liver and bone marrows. I should have enough of those. Maybe I'm a little bit lighter on the bone marrow than I should be. I haven't been fully measuring that for the week, making sure I got that. So that might be part of it. Small intestine, of course, is the other main one. So these two, the minerals I can definitely control. So that's interesting. So I'm gonna take action on those. The hormonal endocrine system, so pancreas, thyroid, kidneys, progesterone, DHEA. So yeah, pancreas, obviously, thyroid is related, and kidneys, of course, all related to what I'm going through. Grief is the number one thing off the charts here. Um, my appendix, adenoids, I don't know what that is. And to a smaller degree, the bacteria, thyroid virus, and anger. Ooh. All right, those are all affecting my immune system. Diet, nutrition, my minerals are off. Vitamins are a little bit off. Artificial sweeteners, sugars and sweeteners, well, I'm not taking any of those, that's for sure. Food stressors and additives, antibiotics is 0. That's good. Hydration, kidneys are way out of range, immune system a little bit. I mean, I'm kind of like on a fast with PKD. I drink a lot of water. And stress from the kidneys might be from the ketosis. Inflammation. All right, grief is causing that apparently. Bacteria, a little bit less. Mental, emotional stress. So minerals is the main thing there. Thyroids, emotional stressors, grief, and greed, which is interesting. I mean, I am trying to make money for my family, right? For our retirement and all that. I want to be financially independent and all that stuff, but maybe that's coming out as greed. I don't know. Grief, greed, and anger, though, man. Impatient, fear, jealous. Jeez. At least I'm not guilty. All right. I'm not sad. I'm 0% sad, guys. So that's good. Sleep. Pancreas. It's not helping with the sleep, apparently. Progesterone. I forget what that is. Now, is that for women? They don't have a uterus. Testosterone. There we go. Builds bone mass. Takes in part of the regulatory blood sugar. Regulating blood sugar. Okay, there you go. Brain activity throughout the body. That's the balance. All right. Okay, I can see that. That makes sense then. Serotonin. All right, this is all mental stuff, or this is all sleep stuff. Okay. Toxic stress, bacteria, mycotoxins, fungi, mold, and viruses. Bacteria, huh? Yeah, so these things, it's popped up a number of times. It's just like, let's just get the silver in there, kill all that stuff. All right, services I think are the exact same as the other one. All right, and that's it. So that's the ZYTO test. It's I'm sure there's some science behind it. I don't know what it is. So as it's presented to me, there's fair amount of a black box. That's the magic where all the stuff comes from. I'm open to it as a data point. I'm not taking it as gospel, but it did well enough to definitely indicate that, you know, someone that would have a type 1 diabetes diagnosis, right? So there's some weight there. It as a machine, like there was no input of that before. It was just a blank slate. You reset everything and put my hand on and it does its thing. So there's no input to kind of help it and guide it towards that type of thing to kind of cheat. So there's definitely some weight, and it's getting some stuff that are is aligning with other data points that we know. So definitely not disregarding it all the way. I don't understand the emotional stuff. Yeah, it's something to look into. The lungs and the bacteria stuff are the most interesting to me. So I'm gonna do the silver for that, and yeah, we'll work on that. I am doing for lungs though. You know, what's interesting is I'm doing the Wim Hof stuff. I'm doing a little bit of Wim Hof breathing, and maybe I was doing that when the air quality wasn't the best. I definitely didn't do it on the worst days. So yeah, maybe that has something to do to it too. All right, guys, but that's it for the daily log. This is Monday, October 12th, 2020, and this is the daily log for Type What and Graham's experiments on finding a cure for type 1 diabetes. If you have any questions, leave them in the comments. I'm going to check them at least once a week and get back to everybody. And if you want to stay up to date with all the things that I'm doing, I'm going to be adding experiment deep dives and some more research articles that are more knowledge based. As I learn things, I'm going to teach them to you. So if you don't want to miss out on those, subscribe to the channel right now so that you never miss out. And with that, I'm going to sign off. Bye, guys.